Hang. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see everybody.
How many people do you have watching this right now?
Yeah, there's like right now we got like 3, sometimes like 4 or 5, Yeah, it's like whatever. Yeah, we just got another one. Okay, good. Good evening to everybody. We're getting started. Okay, so we got. So as you said, we're doing what? Bet Yosef or two? Two. How does it start?
Yeah.
Mishtachaveh. Okay. Oh. Okay, that's interesting.
All right.
Yes, you got that? It's fine.
Mhm.
So it says, you want a book, David? You interested?
I can't read Hebrew.
Oh, I can't. Okay, it's not
But
gonna
I
help
wonder
it.
if I can use Google Translate.
That's interesting. Okay, whatever. Try it out. So, okay, good. So it says like this: Hamishtachaveh lebehema simara pasul. What does that mean? That if you bow to an animal, the tzemer, the wool is pasul, the tzitzit, right? Why is that? Because you made it into avodah zarah. You turned it into an idol by bowing down to it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Bowing, I feel like
Yeah, bowed. You bowed to the animal. You idolized it, right? So became so. Therefore, now you're not allowed to use it for the tzitzit, for the wool, for tzitzit. Okay, so אבל המשתחווה לפשתן נטוע. When it says, what about if you bow down to flax, which is planted, right? Because flax is like linen, right? Same thing.
What?
So
flax.
yeah, linen comes from flax. Flax is like the raw product, and linen is the fabric that comes from there. So yeah, so natua kasher, that's kosher. So if you bow to the linen, to the flax, you're kosher. But if you bow to the sheep, you're not kosher. Interesting.
Does it mean that somebody bowed to it?
Yeah, somebody, yeah.
And you're using that wool, or you bow to this animal using that?
Doesn't really matter who's using it. The point is, right, that once you bow to it, it becomes an idol.
Mhm.
Oh, I
Therefore, you're
see.
not allowed to actually
To use it for tzitzit,
for the sheep, per se.
the wool for the tzitzit, yeah.
But aren't you made out of the talit that you wear,
Yeah.
right? But
Okay.
aren't they made of wool? What?
Yeah, there's also cotton ones, but what I'm saying is that we call it, here we're talking about the fringes, the strings, because the beged we're not so particular about that, because it's not the mitzvah. The mitzvah is the fringes, Yeah.
So they cannot be made out of wool.
They can, but it can't be something which was idolized.
I know.
Yeah,
So how do you know?
somebody bowed to it, right? You got to go to the footage, camera, Ah, there you go.
But if
He
you-
bowed.
But if you get the animal, though,
He prostrated to the.
yeah, but if you get the
right?
animal, though, how do you
Yeah.
know? How do you know the animal? Maybe the animal was pure. Maybe it was raised by a Jewish.
No, you saw that somebody bowed to it. That's what it is,
And then you
Yeah.
can't use it.
Right, can't use it,
I
yeah.
see.
Okay, so let's go on. So it says the tzitzit.
And it's
That's the end of it. Okay, let's see Bet Yosef. Bet Yosef. Very good. Okay, so it says it's short, right? Whatever it says. You got this? Got it, guys? So it says pasul tzitzit, right? Pasul. So it says Maran the kol salamim. Right? Where does this come from? From the Gemara Avodah Zarah, Mem Zayin Amud Aleph. It says over there, Baya de lo ipshita. It's a question which was not answered. Right? In other words, are you allowed to use it or not? No answer. Rambam also writes this way, that you can't use it, right? So what's the story? The story is like this, right? That when you have a Gemara, when you have in the Gemara a question which is not answered, you go lechumra or lekula, right? Lenient or stringent. So how do you know over here to be stringent? What's the story? Anybody can guess?
About?
Huh? No, I'm saying there's a rule like this, that there's rules in the Gemara. So why would you want to be stringent over here? There was no answer.
So they can fill open.
You know why? No. Any other? Because it's deoraita. Since it's deoraita, safek deoraita lechuma. You know what I mean? When it's a doubt from the Torah, we go stringent. We go lechuma.
And the question that's not answered was.
The question is, are you allowed to use this wool or not? Was somebody prostrated to it?
You mean
Worship.
Yeah, but yeah, worship it. Yeah.
bowing down to the animal?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's say you're bowing, but like you drop something. I don't know, like you drop.
That's the classic case, right? Yeah. Okay.
Like
All right. Yeah.
Your glasses or whatever. You're bending.
Yeah.
Or you're bending to pick it up, and there was like I don't know animals in front of you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that brings us to a nice, interesting story, right? Which is the Purim story.
Okay, but you
You know what I'm talking about?
okay, but you picking it up, not bending your knees and bending your arm. You just
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Actually, this story recurs in the Bible like several times. Exactly the same point. Okay, I can give you just a couple examples and you'll see, right? First of all, right, what happened with the Purim story is that Mordechai refused to bow to Haman. You know what I mean? So why? Because he had an idol on his chest, So when you bow to him, you're bowing to his idol. This is the reason why he refused to bow to him. You understand? So, okay. So, this almost got us killed, by the way, this whole thing. You understand? This was the whole pretext of Haman to exterminate the Jewish people. This was a pretext. Because Mordechai wouldn't bow to him. So can you imagine? We almost like got exterminated because of this whole thing. So was he right to do that, Mordechai? That's yeah, well, I don't know. Is it a Kiddush Hashem that Jewish people get exterminated?
No, but
I
he's basically trying not to do the idol worship.
Right, yeah, sure.
I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that he had an avodah zarah on his chest, that's one of the three sins you can't do, even if you
Oh.
left online.
Okay, so the same thing over here, right? So here's the thing, interesting, that the Zohar Kadosh has a very, very interesting approach to this, which I never saw in any other book. Says Zohar Kadosh, what Mordechai did was a mistake. Okay, and that's exactly the point that you're making here. Says Zohar Kadosh, what do you think? What if he really would have bowed to Haman? People would think that he's bowing to the idol? No, they would think he's bowing to Haman. Why? Because the king commanded that everybody should bow to him. So he was fulfilling the law of the king. Understand? Achashverosh, right? So therefore, it says Zohar Kadosh, he should have done it. What's the big deal? His intention was not to bow to the idol. His intention, it goes according to your intention. Understand? So his intention was to bow to Haman, which is okay. You're allowed to bow to human being. Abraham Avinu, he bowed to the Bnei Chet, right? When he bought Marat Mechpelah, he bowed down to them. It says, "Vayishtachu Abraham lifnei Haaretz," right? He bowed to them. What's the problem? So he didn't make them into a god. He just respected them. That's all, right? Should I do that to the people over here? Don't answer that question. No, they all have idols in their chest. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so right, so here's the thing, right? That's the same question. So the Zohar says he should have bowed. Listen, he almost got us killed. So Jewish people, you want to kill us because what? Because you want to go to Chumrah? Be stringent. Machmir. Yeah, Machmir on you and get us killed, right? Oh, very nice. Thanks a lot. So says the Zohar Kadosh, he should have bowed to him, and now Kadosh Baruch Hu had to make a miracle to save us, which we don't rely on miracles. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to rely on miracles, so he should have done it. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. So similar to what you're saying, same thing. By the way, there's another story brought down about Nebuchadnezzar, right? When there was Mishael, Azariah, right, and what's the other one, the third guy, right? And those three tzaddikim that were working for Nebuchadnezzar. What was the other one? No, Mishael, Azariah, and whatever, the third one. Anyway, right, the point is that these three guys, there's one more. So these three guys, you know what happened, right? That Nebuchadnezzar asked everybody to bow to the idol, that he made. Some kind of golden idol. You ever hear the story before?
Yeah.
So what happened was that those three didn't bow, So somebody sold them out, what I mean? There were snitchers over there, as usual, there's always people, snitching, They went to snitch to help them. They didn't bow. So he said, Chayav Mitah, is liable to death, Didn't do the order of the king. So they brought him, to Nebuchadnezzar, these three guys, you know what I mean? So they told Nebuchadnezzar told them, he said, why didn't you bow? What happened? So they told him, they said, what? They said, we don't do Avodah Zarah. We're Jews, He said, we're your subjects, like you're the king. Okay, but that's only for taxes, we pay taxes, Again, we don't want to get in trouble with the IRS, you know what I mean? We pay taxes, we pay tolls, bridges, Verrazano, this, right? Midtown Tunnel, we pay, right? But he says when it comes to Avodah Zarah, we don't listen to the king. We have to listen to Hashem. They explained it to him, So what he told them? He said, okay. He says, all right, don't worry about it. He says, you know what I'll do? He says, I'll drop my ring, and you pretend like you're picking it up, so people will see that like you bowed. So they refuse to do that too, by the way, So again, right, the same thing. So I don't know what to tell you. The Zohar doesn't talk about that case, but I think that case was a little bit different because it was a matter of because the whole thing was, in other words, what the difference is? I'll tell you what the difference is. When it comes to Purim, right, the whole thing was to bow to Haman, not to the idol. But there, the whole thing was to bow to the idol. You know what I mean? So it was a Chil Hashem to bow to the idol, even in that manner. So it was a little bit different there. Okay, whatever. But there's a lot of stories like this. There's more, by the way. There's more stories like this in the Bible. I'm sorry. Also, the Talmud, there's one from the Second Temple era. With the Greeks. Now that we have Hanukkah, that whole it's part of the Hanukkah story. Anyway, this whole thing like this, right? So, but bottom line is like this. That if a person was, what do we learn from there? We learn halakha. Halakha is that if you're bowing to somebody, but your intention is just to pick something up, that's not called bowing to him. You didn't make him into an idol. That's not your intention at all. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much the story, right? So here we're talking about he actually, he made him into a god. He idolized him. That's the whole thing, right? He didn't just bend down to pick up some pocket change that he dropped. That's right.
So in this case, if you're picking up something,
yeah,
but you're in front of animals, then
that's not your intention. You know what it is? There's a rule like this in halakha, in all cases of halakha. It starts in Shabbat and it ends up everywhere. That enomit kaven. If that's not your intention, you're not liable for it. Also on Shabbat, if you did a labor, right, but that wasn't your intention, you're not liable. So it's same thing when it comes to other things as well. So that's the whole story. Okay, whatever. But anyway, right, that's the idea. So since the question wasn't answered and it's from the Torah, so therefore we go lechumra. So therefore it says the Tur and the Rambam that you can't use it. That's the whole thing, right? There you go. Okay, very good. That's the story. Let's go to Shulchan. There's more Beit Yosef, Mechila. There's one more paragraph there. So it says, but if you bow down to the flax, it's okay. Right?
What is the flax?
It's the flax plant, like a plant that grows flax seeds, grows flax seeds.
Okay.
That's a plant that grows. So if you bow to that, you're okay. You can use the linen from there. Linen comes from there. Understand? So there's a difference between the wool and the linen. The question is why, right? What's the story with that?
Oh.
Somebody want to say something there? Okay, so I already have the idea what the difference is, by the way, but I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to be quiet. So look what it says, right? Ken katav Rambam pek aleph. That's how the Rambam writes. He says, Natan tam. He gave a reason for this. What's the reason why? Let the Rambam say. What should I say? So he says, you know what it is? It already changed this thing. It already went through a change. The flax seed, right? Whatever, the flax. So what does that mean? It's not in the original form that it was before, when it was in the ground.
I see.
Interesting. So it says, so we learn it from this parak over there in Mem Bev Amud Bet. This Gemara. לגבי משתחווה לקמה, right? קמחה מהו למנחות. So there's a story over there, right? Not a story, but a discussion. This is also an Avodah Zarah. Men Vavamud Bet talks about a person bows down to standing grain, which is still attached to the ground. And the question is, what about the when you make flour out of that? Is it forbidden to use or it's permitted? The flour. So we learn it from there, same idea. What does that mean? The flour is already a different form. It already changed, from the wheat. The wheat is like a kernel, and the flour is already ground up and blah, blah, blah. So already changed. The same idea over there. Okay, very good. So that's the end of it. Okay, very good. So we're going to Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch Het.
It does work.
What works?
Yeah, the translation, I could actually see the Farsi and everything.
Is that something unique to iPhone or is it what? Is it?
It's called Google Translate, and it's pretty interesting. Because
Incredible.
It gives you some idea what you're talking about.
Right. I wonder how accurate it is.
It has like,
Very interesting. Okay, so interesting. Wow.
yeah, Google Translate.
I like that. It's good. Okay, so Yud Aleph Het. Right, that's where we are.
Pasul.
Okay, so thank you for that. So it says like this, it's a short one, right?Amishtachabel behema. If he bows down to the animal, semara pasul. The wool is pasul, the tzitzit, for tzitzit.Amishtachabel pishtan, but if he bows down to the flax, right? Natua, which is in the ground, kasher tzitzit, it's kosher. Share nishtana. So you see what he's saying over here? The idea is like this, right? That what does it mean it changed? It changed. It means that when you make linen out of it, that's when it changes. That's the reason why you're allowed to use it. But the wool is not really changing so much. Pretty much it's the same as it was. Yeah. I guess you could say that. Yeah. I'm not a big expert in these things, but that's what it seems like. Okay, so that's the story. Going to Tet, yes. They are sent naked. Tool. Okay, got it, guys?
Yeah.
Who doesn't have it? Okay. So it says, you make a hole in the length of the talit, right? The famous hole for the tzitzit, right? You know how that looks. You've seen it, right? Betoch gimel etzbaot has to be within 3 fingers. Samuch lekan from the corner, right? From the edge.
So like 24 inches.
Right. So we're talking about 3 fingers, which is 6 centimeters. That's the maximum.
From corner to hole.
Right.
Why is that?
It has to be because otherwise it's not called a corner anymore. Because it says in the pasuk corner. Kanaf petil techelet, Kanaf. Kanaf means corner. So once you have it too much inside, that's already not called a corner. It's called the goof, the body of the beged. You know what I mean? Oh, here we go.
He wants
We
to.
got demonstration going on here.
You're talking about,
Right, that hole, yeah,
saying this right here?
right,
So it
That-
has to
yeah.
be 3 fingers?
right, not more than 3 fingers, which is 6 centimeters. But it's really 3 thumbs, right? Which is
Right.
a little bit thicker, right?
So what's the reason again?
Because it has to be the corner.
The cor-
Otherwise, it's not called a corner anymore.
the corner.
It's too high. So yeah, that's good to have an example. Okay, so anyway, right? סמוך לכן המרחב, כן, קישור שיש מקשר גודל עד סוף הציפורן. Oh, so it says that it has, so the within 3 fingers, as we said, right? סמוך לקרן, which is going to be close to the corner. ומרוחק מן הקרן כשיעור שיש מקשר גודל עד סוף הציפורן, right? So it also has to be not too much down, too low. That's also not good. So what's the minimum, right, that it can be without being too low? So it says this is the minimum. From the knuckle, this first knuckle to the end of the nail.
That's off.
Like that's like, you know, I don't know.
That's the lowest the corner. can
Yeah, that's
be.
the lowest it can be. Yeah.
What about from the sides, Rabbi?
I'm sorry.
That's from the bottom. Right, what about from the side?
We're gonna talk about that. Those are the sides, but that's
Different.
yeah, that's the bottom up, right? Yeah. So he's checking that.
Yeah, just,
All right, good. Check it. Yeah, leave it there. You can leave it.
yeah, because actually.
Just
Yeah, it's good. Good to yeah. Good to use it.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying right up to here, where it can be the lowest.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah.
This part right here is the
So
lowest.
maximum is 6 centimeters and minimum is like 2.5.
So this is specific law on how to make sure that this is a kosher talit.
Right. That's one of the laws.
Wow.
Okay, very good. So מקשר גודל, right. ומה שיש ממלא קשר גודל ולמעלה עד כדי ג' אצבעות. So it says whatever you have, which is above that minimum amount, until 3 fingers, מן הכנף from the corner, הוא מקום ציצית. That's called מקום ציצית. That's place of ציצית.
That's what it is.
Got it. Okay, good. Let's go to Beit Yosef.
To watch videos, say something like, play YouTube, or show me cat videos.
Okay, so let's go to Beit Yosef. It says in Beit Yosef, ויעשה נקב באורך הטלית. You see that? בתוך 3 אצבעות סמוך לקרן. So it says מרן, פירוש יעשה נקב סמוך לסוף הבגד. It means make a hole right close to the end of the clothing. מרוחק מסוף הבגד כשיעור שיש ממלא קשר גודל. It has to be at least this much, as we said, right? At least this much. עד סוף הציפורן. Until the end of the nail. וביושר הוא מודד לאורך הבגד. So you know it says well, you have to measure it straight, not diagonally, right? You got to measure it straight up. Right? Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit different. Right. So it says מודד לאורך הבגד, the סוף הבגד. It says the corner is called the end of the beged. דהיינו שולב, the end, the bottom. ונראה שמפני שצריך להטיל הציצית סמוך לקרן. So it says it seems that because he has to put the tzitzit close to the corner, right? As we said, very close. Shesham hu kanaf. That's called kanaf, right? The corner of the beged. Kerele keren. Therefore, it's called keren. Mikol makom beyosher hu moded. But you got to measure straight. He says, right? As we said, not diagonal. Katati ze lefi sheraiti. So he says, I wrote this. You know why? Because I saw Misha Haya Rotze lefaresh. There was one guy, one rabbi, who wanted to explain Divrei Rabbeinu, the words of Rabbeinu, the Torah, the Keren, the Kamar. When he says Keren, Hainu Keren Zavit, that means like the corner, like, you know, the corner of the beged. We're not talking about the corner, we're talking about the edge. You understand the difference? We're talking about the bottom, not the corner. right? The bottom edge. Okay, and then it goes on to say, and he thought this rabbi, I know and he go diagonally from the corner, diagonally. The ta'utu is says that's a mistake what he wrote, this rabbi. Not correct. If so, if that was the case, what is it? Why does it say you should make a hole at the length of the talit? Length means from the bottom. The kamar. And also, why does it say the width of the beged? And no shiur, that there's no shiur. That answers your question, by the way. There's no shiur with that. We'll see what that means exactly. Okay, whatever, we'll see. I'm not really sure exactly how that goes, but you know, shiur b'katava samuch. So he says he wrote close by, Hare kevan shehu moded, since he's measuring mikeren zavit galachson from the corner and going diagonally, as we said, lo sheach le'ad chure lo orech. So then it wouldn't be relevant to say the word length, but lo rochav and width, right? If you're going diagonally. So it must be that he's talking about the edge of the beged, right? The edge, not the corner. And you measure straight up from the bottom. Until the end of the beged, shel orech habeged, the end of the length. And not from the corner going diagonally. That's how it seems from the smag. He wrote like this: don't put it below that amount, as we said, right? From here to here, right? Don't put it below that. It's too low. Because it says on the corner. What does that mean? On top of the corner, not like on the bottom of the corner. It says ala kanaf. Right? So if it was on the corner, like really, like literally. That would be like under, not over. Adkan mashma lemata keren. So you see from there, right, that the bottom is called keren, corner, right, whatever. The etema, the keren, hainu alachson. If you're going to tell me that it's talking about the diagonal, right, the corner, eno inyan letchilat dvarav. So then it wouldn't fit into the beginning of his words. So that's how it comes out from the Rambam as well. Right, the same idea. He says, how do we make the tzitzit? He says, you start from the zavit of the talit, which is the end, right? Whatever, the corner, whatever you want to call it. It's the end of the, right, the bottom, whatever, the edge. Don't go more than 3 fingers inside, right? That's what we said, right? Lemala, above. And also not less than this, right? As we said, not less than this. Okay, so yeah. That's the end of the Rambam. So then it goes on. And if it was true that's going to the diagonal, right? The moded that you measure like that. He wouldn't have said, been silent about that. The Rambam. He would have explained that that's the way it's got to be done. The Frusha, the Behedya, they would have explained like explicitly. So he says that what she wrote. You got to start from the edge of the talit. You got to put the tzitzit close to the zavit, which is the corner. No, nobody's here. Have a good night. Shashamhu kanafa beged. That's the edge of the beged. The komakom biyosha tzarich limdod, but you got to measure straight, not diagonally. V'chen amad dabar. And it says Maran. That's everybody does like that. Everybody measures straight. Nobody measures diagonally. Ve'im madad bikeren zavit. And if you're going to do it from that, like that, from the corner, be'alachson diagonally, a tzitzit pasul. It's going to be pasul. It's not going to come out good. Why is that? Because the measurement will be different, right? That's the whole thing. It's going to be low. It's going to be below that height that you need. It's going to be shorter. Right? 2/5 from that size. Because we hold in Masechet Sukkah Chet Amud Aleph, Kol amta beribu'a amta v'tre v'chum she'el achsona. Right, so there's a rule like this, a little bit geometry in the Torah, right? A little geometry we have here, which is what? Am I scaring you guys? Okay.
In the past geometry,
All of a sudden, everybody looked up at me. I was like, what happened? What did I say? What did I say? Okay, so
wasn't a big fan.
okay, so what he's saying is like this, right? There's a rule like this in geometry, okay, which is that whatever. In other words, if you take the side of a square, okay, the diagonal will always be bigger, right? How much? By 2/5, right? That's a general rule. We call that the right triangle, right? In geometry, the good old days, huh? When you learn that stuff, huh? Okay, there's a rule like this. Okay, so umakom din zehu beperek hatchelet. So he says this is in the perek tchelet. The garsinan we have over there. This is menachot, right? Just like we said yesterday. A lot of this stuff is in menachot. This tzitzit stuff. The garsinan atam we say over there. Bedek bite. Now it's bedek bite, right? Tanu Rabbanan. The rabbis taught. Kama chutin hu noten. How many strings do you put in the tzitzit?
8.
Right? Shammai omrim. Shammai says arba, 4, right? Ubat Hillel omrim shalosh, 3, right? Because, you know why? Because we put 4, but we double it. We fold it, so it comes up to be 8. That's what it means to say.
So this
Well,
is
the
eight.
actual.
Yeah, right. There's actually 4
Once
strings,
you-
right? Yeah.
This I see 8.
I said right before you make the knot.
When we're talking about when we start in the hole, in the hole, go up to the hole, right? From there, over there, there's basically 4, which is 8 because we fold it over. You understand?
Oh, so it's 4 and it's folded over.
Right. Fold, so it comes out to be 8. Yeah.
So it's
Good?
actually.
It starts
That's
with-
the way it is.
I see what you said. So it's 4 and it's folded over.
Right. So it comes
you're
out to be
saying
8.
me,
Yeah.
Then what happens over here then?
We're not up to that yet, but what we're saying is like this, right? That there's a machloket. Shammai says 4, and Hillel says 3. So it seems like we go like Shammai, right? Omrim shalosh. V'kamahu temeshuleshet. Bet Shammai omrim arba. How much does it have to be, right? Triangle or whatever. Bet Shammai says 4. Bet Hillel omrim. Bet Hillel says shalosh, 3. ושלוש הבית הלל אומרים 1 מ-4. So, right, so when Bet Hillel says 3, it means 1/4. טפח, 1/4 of טפח של כל אדם, any person. אמר הפאפה, טפח מדאורייתא, 4 בגודל עד כאן. So Rapapa says טפח is deoraita, and 4, when we say 4, we're talking about thumbs, right, which is 2 centimeters. Okay, whatever. Amar Papa, it goes on to say, right? Hilchata arba. So halacha is what? We do 4 strings, right? Betoch shalosh meshuleshet. So it has to be within 3, something like that. Whatever. Arba. All right. 3/4. Pirush Rashi. Rashi explains. So we need explanation on this because the language is not clear. So says Rashi, arba'a chutin noten betoch shalosh etzbaot. This is what it means. Oh, now he explains it right, really good. You put 4 strings, okay? Has to be within 3 fingers, as we said, right? That's the 3. 3 fingers is the distance from the corner. Shelo yarchik min hasafa yoter mishalosh etzbaot. Don't go more than 3 fingers from the corner, from the edge. So it seems from his words, she'im natnu besof shalosh etzbaot. If you put it within 3, right, like you're supposed to, kasher, kosher. According to Rashi, you can't do more than that, right? It doesn't have to be exactly 3. It could be a little bit less as well. It's only pasul when you put it more than 3, higher than 3, right? You guys following this? Okay, good.
And less than the finger and stuff.
Right, yeah, we said that, yes. So it says Mishalosh is Baod. The Kachem Divrei Rambam. That's the way it comes on the Rambam. The Samag, also Samag. Ulefizeh, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay. Ulefizeh, right? It says according to this, Mash Katav Rabbeinu. That which Rabbeinu wrote. Shat Kadesh Shalosh Etzbaot. It has to be until 3 fingers. Me'kanaf, from the corner. Hu Makom Tzitzit. That's the place of Tzitzit. Have ad ve'ad bichlal. That means also including 3. In other words, 3 is also good. Exactly 3 is good. Doesn't have to be less than 3. Okay, so the מרוחק 3 אצבעות בצמצום, if it's 3 exactly, כשר, it's kosher. אף על פי שכתוב ברוקח, even though it says in רוקח, right, ולא ירחיק מן הכנף 3 אצבעות, he says don't go 3, don't go 3. It's משמע that implies that 3 is too much. צריך להידחק בפירושו, so we have to push that a little bit, force it a little bit, כי איך ידע לא נפלוג הרש"י, because it shouldn't be arguing with Rashi, Gani Ravata and all these rabbis we mentioned. So therefore, the rule is, right, it can be exactly 3. But not more than that.
Is there a standard size, or you just use your finger size?
So the truth is, we have this down to centimeters, all this stuff. It's translated already, all these measures, So we have everything, pretty much.
So it is standardized. You in those days you wouldn't use your own.
We're talking about the average, the average person, something like that. Yeah. So as we said, right, that one finger is 2 centimeters. That's the way we pass it. By the way, it may be a little bit different than that. We're talking about approximately 2. It's not exactly 2.
So how do you?
Yeah.
How do you?
Some say it's a little bit less than that, like 9 millimeters. It's all kinds of. So therefore, you gotta stay on the safe side. Don't go towards the edge. As we said, right? Try to give some slack.
Right.
Don't go to the end. It's not good to be like that. People like, some people like to be like on the edge of everything. Like on the end. Like you shouldn't be like that. Give some slack. Be safe. Be on the safe side. Have an insurance policy. But, don't be a gambler. It's not good to be like that. Okay, so I told people, regarding this also, regarding like, those calendars, those charts, time charts, don't go till the end of every time chart, like exactly, give a 5-minute slack, it's not good to be like that. Except nets, right? Nets is something else. You should go always, never before. Don't do before nets, right? Doing it after is okay, like 2 minutes after, but before, never do.
Yeah. But when it comes to giving stuff for time, it could be, I don't know, doing a little extra, but it could be like, I don't know, let's say like Shabbat will be already over, but you're adding 5 minutes.
Right. So yeah, that's why we when it comes to Shabbat we do Rabbeinu Tam, so we cover that. But we also do Tosefet Shabbat, Tosefet Shabbat. We add to Shabbat. When you have this time, right? When you have this time of 40 minutes that they do over here in this area, right? 45 minutes. There's already the addition is already measured in there. It's already added in.
So
I guess you guys didn't know that, but it is. Yeah, it's all here.
Whatever time Shabbat ends, the additional time is already added in.
Right. They add 15 minutes. Yeah.
that's
Shabbat
that's
ends.
like what part of
It's a bonus for you. It's a bonus.
So
Yeah.
if Shabbat ends at say 6:45.
Right.
It really ended at 6:30.
So the truth is like this, that you usually, you have to see like stars, you have to see like 3 stars, three
Medium
mid-size, right? Medium, mid-size stars. So usually that happens like about a half hour after Shkia, after sunset, But they give you 40 minutes. Why? Because they add you 10, 15 minutes more, They give you bonus. That's the Ashkenazi way of doing it. We don't do it this way.
But this is when it comes to, it's not in regards to Rabbeinu Tam, meaning they do this like once the time for Shabbat ends.
I'm sorry.
Like Tosefet Shabbat would be like,
After Shabbat, another whatever, right?
but this is not after Shabbat Rabbeinu Tam.
Right. So if you're doing Rabbeinu Tam, you don't need Tosefet anymore. You know what? Because you already did the Tosefet. In other words, the fact that you did Rabbeinu Tam, you already added from the Geonim, So that's good enough already. You know what I mean? So you don't have to do Tosefet from Rabbeinu Tam. That's already too much, too generous. Okay. So that's the story. But the truth is, that according to the Geonim, right? Shabbat ends when? 13.5 minutes after Shkia. That's what it is. It says the Ben Ish Chai, by the way, in Baghdad, he says, they used to do like 22 minutes over there. 22 minutes after Shkia, they finish Shabbat over there. Pretty shocking, huh? That wasn't minhag in Baghdad. Because they went like the Geonim. So they didn't do it like Rabbeinu Tam. So that's what they did. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, good to know. So why 20? But why 22 minutes? Why 20 minutes? Because it's like a little bit lachumra. They're adding a little bit more. You have the safe side. So they're not doing 13 and a half. They're doing 20. That's the idea. That's one shita. So Maran, by the way, his psak was like this. Whether you're in Israel or outside of Israel. I'm not sure about Greenland, but Iceland, right? I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about normal countries, right? Europe, America, whatever. Right? You're a garden variety exile, right? Exile country, right? So those countries, Maran says, you should do, if it's derabanan, 20 minutes is enough. If it's deoraita, do like Rabbeinu Tam. After the sun goes down, right? So we're being lenient if it's derabanan, if something which is rabbinical, like using your cell phone, which is not from the Torah, obviously, right? It's not so obvious to some people. They think this is from the Torah, but it's not. So, but if you're doing something like lighting Hanukkah candles, which is from the Torah, you got to wait till Rabbeinu Tam. By the way, a lot of people don't do that here. I see even in the Friday shows, they light Hanukkah candles like 40 minutes after Shkia. What told you you could do this? Motzi Shabbat. Yeah. Who told you?
So you're saying if it ends at 4:29, let's say sunset is
4:29, right?
4:29.
Right.
You're saying what?
So according to the first shita, according to the first opinion, 4:50 you're good, right? If it's something rabbinical.
Yeah.
But Rabbeinu Tam is 72 minutes, so you got to wait till 5:40, whatever, right? Whatever it is, right?
So that's 72 minutes.
Yeah, 72 minutes. Yeah.
Sunset.
Right.
So we should go before.
The as I said, right, my rabbi, what he said was, if it's rabbinical, do like the lenient opinion. If it's from the Torah, do like the stringent opinion. So if it's a cell phone, you can be lenient, 20 minutes. If it's something which is from the Torah, like Hanukkah candles, you gotta wait till Rabbeinu Tam. That's how we pass him. Okay. The truth is, that Rabbeinu Tam is a chumrah because most places today don't do like Rabbeinu Tam.
You're right, actually. It is, let's say Shabbat ends.
Yeah.
It ends at 5:15 this coming.
Right. That's the standard Ashkenazi custom. Right.
That's what our calendar is.
Yeah. They're all Ashkenazi. They're all Ashkenazi calendars. They're all Ashkenazi, except the one I use. I have the only one which is Friday. It's called. I'll show you guys which one it is. They're all Ashkenazi. They're all Ashkenazi. Yeah.
CalJ?
Huh?
What about
JCal, right? JCal.
That's also.
But you got to go into the settings and put it into Orach Chaim. If you do that, it becomes Friday.
There's this.
You convert, it's conversion. You're putting it into the mikveh, right there. That's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean now,
You got to download it, and then or you could just go into the website, but downloading is better. JCal.
CalJ.
But there's like several of them, so it's the orange color. You got that orange one.
It's JCal
Yeah,
or
right.
CalJ?
No, JCal.
Yeah, but if you go into this one.
I'm sorry?
If you go in here, this is money, right?
Yeah, this is Ashkenazi.
If
Yeah.
if you click on any one of them,
Yeah.
right? Then it's gonna give you like 100 options, like
Right, but it doesn't have Orach Chaim, doesn't have the Sephardi one,
this one.
as far as I know.
Like,
Yeah.
which one do you choose?
I don't choose any of them because as I said, I use JCal. I don't use money.
Got it.
I used to use money
How do you spell it?
before,
Oh, it's because there's Magen Avraham in there. And,
I'm sorry?
Magen Avraham is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about that. That's not really Ashkenazi Sephardi issue. It's a different issue
Which one is
altogether. I'm sorry, what are you asking about?
Which one is it?
What
JCal?
is what?
JCal.
JCal it's an orange color app. It's orange.
There's a couple of them here.
That's what I'm saying. I gotta help you with that. After the class, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll sort it out. I'll show you guys. I have it on my phone. Okay, so yeah, but anyway, you're Ashkenazi, right? So you don't really need it. You don't really need it so much.
Yeah.
But the truth is, JCal has also the Ashkenazi mode. It has both. You see, that's the thing. So it's actually very good. I think it's the most accurate one that there is. I don't know. But anyway, whatever, right? So yeah. Okay, good. So let's go on. The Kataba Kolbo, right? It goes on in Beit Yosef. You see where that is?
Yeah.
Kataba Kolbo, which is one of the Rishonim. So it says, Beshem Rabbeinu Peretz, the name Rabbeinu Peretz, Al Hane Etzbaot Perush Etzba regarding those fingers, right? Hainu gudal. So what is a finger? It's a thumb, right? As we said, right? Which is thicker, right, than the regular finger. It's 2 centimeters. That's how we go. That's how it says also smak. Also, right? All these Rishonim. Medibra Mordechai also, right? Who mevuar b'Gemara. So it says, it's explain the Gemara, this whole thing. Shkatati b'samuch that we just brought, right? That's where you find out this whole story. That what? When it says finger, it means a thumb. Okay, so then he goes on. V'chen katav Rambam. Also, Rambam says this. Perek Aleph Minchot Tzitzit. Perek Tet Minchot Tefillin. Also over there. Rows of Tefillin. V'so Perek Yud Zayin Minchot Shabbat. Also Minchot Shabbat. Katav Gamken Ha'etzba Shemesharin Ba. So he says the finger that we use for measurements. B'chol makom, in every place. Rochav Agudal. It says it's the thumb, right? It's the thickness of, not the thickness, the width of the thumb. Shalyad of the hand, right? Not the foot thumb, right? Okay.
Not the index finger.
Right, the thumb, yes. Absolutely. Okay, very good. V'raiti arbe anashim. So it says, I saw a lot of people. Modedin b'shalosh etzbaot hasmuchim ze lazeh. Oh, so it says, you know what? They use regular fingers, right? B'yad. Index fingers and so forth, so right? She'echad nikra etzba. One of them is called etzba. Ve'asheni ama. One is called ama. Ve'ashlishi kemitza. Right? Those are 3, right? We're talking about these 3 fingers, right? Got it, guys? These are 3 fingers that he's talking about. They use those fingers to measure. Okay? This one, this one, this one. Not the pinky, right? Okay, so so it's a mistake, he says, what they're doing. They have nothing to rely on. In other words, there is no source for that, to use these fingers. So just your garden variety mistake. Basically. The Katav Mordechai, so says Mordechai, Omer Rav, שצריך להישאר במקום רוחב הגודל. Again, right, same thing. You have to use the thumb. ולא מראשו, so it says, שהוא קצר. Don't use the top of the thumb, which is thinner, you know? Not the top of the thumb. So what does that mean? You got to use the widest part of the thumb. You understand what I'm saying? The widest part, not the top. Right, yeah. The meaty part, right? The bony part, yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, you got that. Okay, so so it says, right, in the Tosfot, so it says Tosfot, they have a doubt about this. They also, it says over there in Gemara, Mem Bet Amud Aleph, Tanu Abanan. Hitil ala keren or ala gdil. So it says if you put it on the corner or the gdil, right, which is the knots, kisharat, it's kosher. Right. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Posel. This rabbi is it says it's no good. Both of them are no good. Kemal Azda Amar Rav. How does it go? What Rav said, right? Rav Gidal Amar Rav, name of Rav. Tzitzit tzricha shetehen notefet ala keren. The tzitzit has to be drooping off the corner. Shenemar al kanfei bigdem, because it says on the corner of your clothing. Keman ki Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. It's like this opinion. Amar Rav Yaakov. It says Rav Yaakov. Amar Rav Yochanan. Name Rav Yochanan. Tzarich shiarchik kemelo kesher gudal. This has to be at least this much distance, right? As we said, this is the minimum.
So this,
right?
this
Yeah.
applies to this tzitzit and talit, and also to this tzitzit.
Right, same thing for everyone. Yeah, they're all the same. The rule is the same for all of them. So it says Kimulo Kesher Gudal, Uperesh Rashi, ala keren. So Rashi explains, what does it mean? It's on the corner. It means al safat chodo shel keren. It's on the edge of the corner. Gedil, what is gedil? Chut aveh. It's a thick string. The chazak and strong. The beged in the beged in the clothing. Techila in the beginning. Kadesh shelo yeh noach likara. Right, that's like the edge, you know, the edge where, there's that rim, the rim, right? So it's like strong, so it shouldn't tear from the rim. כדי שלא יהיה נוח לקרוא לשון אחר, right? גדיל אלו הן חוטין שבשתי. Another way to say is that these are the strings of the warp. B'shnei tzadim, from two sides. V'korin oridash.
It's French.
Oh, good, nice. Okay. Sheteno tefet. So it says that it should be drooping off that. Ala keren, on the corner. Shetehet tola tole umakeh ala keren. So it's hanging and knocking on the corner, right? Kilomar she'ekbiana lemala. That means you should go above minasafar, from the edge. This shouldn't be on the edge. It should be above the edge, right? Above the K'dei shetehet tola v'nogat atliag keren. So what does that mean? That the hanging should be touching the corner. Okay, I guess we'll stop there. Shiachik melo kesher budal. Right, that's where we're stopping. So we
these are
can.
made out of wood, you're saying?
Yeah, most of them are made out of wool, of course. Yeah. I heard that they have some also linen ones, but not really good to use those.
And so, I know you're gonna get to it today, but what about these?
Let me just say goodbye to the Zoom guys here. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming. God bless you. Good to see you. Stay healthy. Learn more Torah and get some rest also. Bless the show. Laila Tov, Chazak u'Baruch. Okay, let me just shut this down and then.
How many people are?
Yeah, 1 second. I'm just shutting it down.
Iceland?
Give me a second.
No, not the Jews in general, Jews.
Jews, there's a